What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Carla.
And I'm Amanda. We are two sisters, two moms tackling one book at a time. We are going to go over chapters 23 and 24. Which 23 is actually a really fun chapter because we have Rhea who figures out what her signet is. Riddick figures out what his signet is. And then we have Jack Barlow getting exactly what he wants, and that is to challenge Violet, which is going to be a crazy ride. But before we start, real fast, I'll tell you mine, but I want you to tell me what stood out to you the most, or like what made you laugh, cry, or get really, really mad in this chapter?
Okay, well, one thing that stood out to me was, because we gotta meet Dain's father in this,
Oh,
two
yes.
chapters that we read. And I found it very interesting how interested they were to learn about the Feathertails.
Isn't that creepy? Like
I
he came off
know. I
kind
was
of
like,
creepy, right?
yeah, they're like, would you mind asking and Darna if we can basically talk to her and interview her? And that's like, no, you may not.
Oh, yeah. Tarn was like, no. That's what I heard in my head. Just shake the house a
Yeah,
little bit. No.
which kind of tells me that, obviously Feathertails play a more significant role than I think what we were originally led on to believe. Because they really do know nothing about Feathertails. They have no idea how it works or how their powers work.
Yeah. And then he got like kind of upset, like pushing her. I kind of could like vision him pushing her, like, well, your father was the last one to do research on it. Where's the books at? Like, kind of thing. It's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Like it was almost like a setup plan. Like, oh, well, once we see Violet, we're going to just kind of casually, like, drop in little parts of, oh, so, want to tell us a little bit about your Feathertail dragon? Do you have any powers? Do you, like,
Yeah. I
I
don't think
was
he was
just
so
like,
set off.
yeah. But as we find out that Violet's father was working on it, and, maybe this also, contributed to his death. Should,
Oh, who? Atos?
no,
Or her dad. Oh, her
her
dad. Her
father.
dad. Oh, he
Yeah.
knew too much type thing, huh?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a little bit of like multiple sides going on here. Because Violet was how old when her father died? Was it a while
Uh,
ago?
It was 5 years ago, so wasn't that like 15? Because she's supposed to be 20.
And Brennan died.
It was just a few years because he couldn't handle it. So Brennan died 5 years ago. I think the dad died shortly after that, like a year
Yeah.
after that, maybe.
What if her dad was like what if they killed him because he had
Mm,
information that they wanted and they couldn't get it, or I don't know.
okay, that's a good one. Like,
Should
who
that be
killed
our
him though? Like the dragons or the people?
the people? Like, what if the
Okay.
people wanted, like, I mean, just the way Dane's father was like, oh, your father was the last one to work on this research. And she's like, okay. And they automatically want to know about the Feathertail, which just so happens to be part of the research her father was working on. Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Okay.
Should that be like our pin of the day?
Yeah, I
I
love
feel
the
like every
pins.
episode we have a pin.
Yeah, we do. um, that's a good one. I feel like mine has to do with Dane too, from what happened a few chapters back of how he wanted to grab Violet's face without asking, like basically stealing
Mm-hmm.
her memory. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, no. And then they brought it back up again because, of course, he's trying to become her friend again and figure stuff out. But the way I see it, the way it's playing out in my head is he's kind of weird too about it because she said you didn't ask. And then all of a sudden, um, he like cuts her face and he's like, um, he reaches over to cup her cheeks and his gaze determined for him to understand either its value and choice or if we're never going to fix the relationship. So basically, she was saying, you have to accept this or not. But his power, he could just touch you and like see all your memories. So as he's cupping her face and she's kind of telling him this, his mood completely changes. And it's like, why did his mood completely change after that? Where now he is
Mhm.
like basically like accepting it and he's totally like changed. So I feel like,
Mhm.
to me, it seems like, what did he just take from her? Because
Oh,
why
like
would
did
his
he save
mood
her?
change? Yeah. And why is he always touching her? He's
Maybe
always touching her.
maybe he saw like the kiss with Xaden. Because wasn't this right before all of a sudden he was like, you can't trust Xaden, and like he was basically going against Xaden, like you trust him more than you trust me, and maybe that's what
Yeah,
he
he's
saw.
he's so jealous. But yeah, it was just weird how like you were so protective over her and all of a sudden you touch her face and she's trying to tell you how she feels and all of a sudden you are completely okay with like your mood. To me, in my head, his mood totally changed. So I was like,
Mhm.
I feel like I need to keep an eye on this guy right now because
Yeah.
why is he always
Dane.
touching her?
Stop touching her, Dane. She's not
Yeah,
interested anymore. She's moved
don't
on to
take her
Zane or Xaden.
memories.
She's moved
Don't
on to
take her
Zane.
memories.
That's what
Gosh,
that would be the guy she would fall for, is a Zane. A Dane
I
and
like
a
Dain.
Xaden together.
Dain. Yeah, that's my pin for the day.
Yeah, I
Going
I
back,
yeah, I was gonna say I think I agree with that. I think he saw something.
yeah, which seems like that whole situation is just weird. He's just a weird dude. But I do like as we go back to start talking about these two chapters, we find out what Rhee's power is. And I find that's very cool how Xaden has a very rare power, and now Rhee has a rare power where she can like transport stuff. So I'm like, this is the generation that's having like the rare like powers come by. Except
Rare
Riddick, poor
abilities.
Riddick, he has ice, and Sawyer has
The
metal. And
metal.
she's all like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's very common for metal. I'm like, oh, poor Sawyer. He doesn't have anything cool,
I know he didn't
but
even get picked last year, and then he gets picked this year, but he gets like a very non-unique power.
I know. I was like, oh, that would be kind of cool though to have like you'd be like Magneto, something, make it
Magneto.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and Rhea even says like that I mean she's done it a few times, and when she goes to show Violet, she's like, I can only do it with things in the room. I can't have anything travel through the wall.
And she's
It can
like,
only do it
yet.
super close. Yeah, yet.
Yeah. So I love how they're always encouraging each other. Like
Hmm.
she'll be able to go through walls or she'll be able to transport stuff through walls and
Well, and
she
speaking of encouragement, she also happens to plant that seed into Violet's head, as because Violet was telling Ree that like, oh, Xaden is the most, powerful rider in our generation. And Ree's like, right now. And then we come to find out later that Ree's like, technically, Violet, you would be the most powerful because you bonded with Taryn, which is one of the most powerful dragons, right?
yeah.
So the most powerful dragon would bond with one of the most powerful riders. So I like that encouragement banter they've got going on between the two of them. I see this real friendship because in the beginning we saw that, Mira told her like, don't make friendships, make alliances, and you know, here goes Violet not listening. She's
Right?
making friendships, and
She's making the
she's
best
got,
friends.
yeah, and I think that's going to play a big role with like her future in the school and having these alliances and people there to protect her.
Yes. Yeah, it does make a big role. I mean, can you imagine if she didn't have Brie? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think she
like
would be.
everything would go
Yeah, and
a little
she
different.
would be a lot more um lost. And I mean, she tells Rhea everything. She told Rhea about her little makeout session with Xaden.
Yeah.
And I
Almost
was like,
everything. I feel like Violet's starting to hold a lot of secrets and lies coming down the in this chapter.
she is. And she even admits that. She even says that. She's like, I'm holding a lot of secrets in. I'm holding the fact that I was able to stop time with Andarna. She's
Hmm.
holding back Andarna's age, right? We know that Andarna is like a baby, essentially, or 2 years old. Um, which is interesting because that seems to be such a big deal. Um, but I think it's because it's Feathertails are just not known. They don't know much about Feathertails, so there's really no way for them to know that a Feathertail is technically a baby, right?
Yeah, that is true. And then we see the months go by pretty fast. I mean, we were in the November and then December, and now we're turning into January. So we could tell that the timeline's moving pretty fast because we're getting closer to the I want to call it war games, but they're not war games.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of the name.
The
Squad.
game.
Squad something.
Wow. Why can't I remember it? But they're getting closer.
What is that exactly?
It's kind of like, I feel like capture the flag or some, not capture the
Capture
flag,
the
but
flag. I'm okay.
I'm um
That was a great
it's it's
analogy.
it's gonna explain it because we'll find out. I
Well, it
just
seems
can't remember what it's called right now because there's two things that is gonna happen.
well, it seems
But we'll
like
get
what they
we'll
talked
get
about having people who can do the gauntlet, right? People who can do sparring, right? And then people who can do the flying.
yeah. So
So
it's
it's
like a bunch of
like the Olympics, but
kind
for
not no.
as diet. No.
You're just gonna have to see in the next two chapters. I can't even remember what it's called right now. It's like not X Games. I can't even find it, but I had it highlighted, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. So we're getting closer to whatever games that they have to play in order to, what did they say? Like you win like 2-day pass on the front lines or something.
Yeah.
So, and when we first heard about it, she's all like, "You have plenty of time to worry about that because we'll do that in the spring." And now we learn that it's only a couple of weeks away. So
Right.
a lot of time has passed from where we left off to now.
Yeah, it seems like we're seeing Violet start to get a little bit better with her sparring. We're seeing that she doesn't need to have any poisons this
Nope,
time
that's a
around.
lie. She only did good for 2 rounds. She even says it. She got through the second round, and then the third one was Jack Barlow, which she poisons with oranges because he's allergic to oranges. So the girl has problems. Okay, she could only she was only able to last two of them, two sparring rounds,
Yeah. But you know
and
what?
then she
We have to give
does.
her credit where credit's due, and it's two more than what she was able to do months ago, right?
That
And
is,
one of them was what, a second year?
yes, a second year.
So they
Yep.
have, I would guess, a little bit more training in the sparring field. So I mean, she's
Yeah.
getting better. She's not like a Rhiannon or like, a Xaden, but she's getting there. She's trying.
Which is cool because our little uh shoot in chapter 24 we see that Xaden now is the one who's going to end up training her.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
He
find out
fires he fires
ev-
them. He's like, you guys are
well,
all done.
he didn't really fire Liam, but he's all like, you're not training with Rhiannon anymore because I'm taking over. um I forgot
Which
why
I
he,
think is,
do you remember why he did that?
he did it because Jack Barlow took out Violet, didn't take her out, but he like,
Pinned her
she
pretty
didn't
fast.
yeah, she couldn't win against him. And so he's like, obviously what Rhiannon's teaching you isn't working. And he can't trust Liam to keep her safe because nobody told him that Jack Barlow was going to be fighting her, even though they all knew about it until very last second. So, and I got to give it credit to Xaden too, again, where credit's due, because I feel like, look, if you want something done and you want it done right, you need to do it yourself. So you being the one to train Violet and you being the one to, keep your eyes on her, because that's essentially the benefit for you, Xaden. So if you got to do it, you got
Yeah.
to do it, you know?
Yeah, which then he does because he goes, apparently I can't trust Liam in a deli
You
situation or Rihanna. So then, of course, he takes over, which then gives
say Rihanna?
Rhiannon.
I was like, the singer? He talked to the singer? I'm just
Yeah, she totally time traveled back there. And then we see now that Liam could kind of train too, but we saw that Xaden had a dagger made just for Violet
He
in
did.
this chapter.
And I
And
was
he
wondering how she was going to get him, because he's like, she's like, you can only take the ones that you win off somebody. And I was like, oh, he's going to lose for her. He's going to lose for
yeah,
her.
and he totally did.
Now wait, can we rewind really
Yeah,
quick?
because she's like, I can't take it.
Let's go back for a second. Can we talk a little bit about the fight between Jack Barlow and Violet? Because it seemed
Oh
like
yeah.
that was a very built up fight ready to happen. And we see a lot of it going back and forth, but I feel like Violet, I don't know. I think Violet was like afraid to
Oh, she was
go
terrified.
beyond. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like why did she wait? She told, well, first off, what confused me is when she was talking to Liam and she's like, "Can I tell you something? But you have to promise not to tell Xaden." And he's like, "Well, will it affect your safety?" And she's like, "No, it's just something that can't be changed." But it totally affects her safety. Am I the only one who
But
caught on to that?
she knew she had it under control because she knew he was allergic to oranges. And even she said the protection is like in my pocket, in a vial in my pocket. So she already knew she was
Yeah, but then
gonna,
why did she have him go get Xaden? Because right before the fight starts, she's like, "All right, go ahead."
because I don't think I don't know. I took it as she probably thought she wasn't going to be able to pull this off. But I
Oh, yeah, I
think
could see
when
that.
Jack Barlow was saying, "Oh, look, the wing leader's not here to save you," to me, I took it when I read it was that she was it clicked in her head like, shit, I can't die. I actually have to fight because if I go down, Xaden goes down too. Which you could
Yeah.
tell even more this girl is so crushing on this Xaden. Like you could tell she's in love because
Oh, like every few seconds, she's like, "Oh, he is so hot."
yeah. So the whole like Jack Barlow kind of taunting her with Xaden kind of gave her the momentum because she even pushes back. And then she fought so fast, she shoved the vial in his face. And I think she said she broke his tooth.
But
Oh,
he was also using his powers.
he was that little cheater. He's such a
Well,
snake.
because when Riddick and
The professor tried to touch him. It was hot.
yeah, it like yeah, and that was coming from Jack Barlow, right? That wasn't coming
Yeah.
from Violet.
Because
So
Riddick was saying, oh, he's using his powers. And
yeah,
he also threw a dagger. You're not supposed to throw anything. So this guy just cheated his way through, anyways.
yeah.
He
So even if he
deserves to end up in the infirmary.
yeah, even if he won, it's like you didn't win based off the fact that you were able to take her out. You won because you cheated,
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
for
Violet did
sure.
months ago when she was cheating to poison people to
She
win.
cheated at the end. She was like, all right, I'm taking it. So, but then she was nice enough too, because we find out again, because Xaden was like, why didn't you just take him out? Like, why did you tell Riddick? She's like, I didn't want to kill him. So
Yeah,
she does have that soft spot again of not wanting to kill people who are trying to kill her for some reason.
yeah.
But that's what makes Violet Violet. So
hmm That's what makes her
that's a
different.
yeah, exactly. And then we see Xaden taking over.
Yeah, he makes her all
Xaden.
these little daggers she's got, and she gets to basically she gets to take everything out from him. So she's like, you know, on top of him, like pulling all these daggers out. And I was like, oh, she is living her dream right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was um again finding another loophole in the system where he's like, yeah, go ahead, just strip them off me, like then they're yours, you
Yeah,
know.
he could have it. But then he like pushes her back off of him. So and then we
And then
see
we also find out too, because doesn't he even say, or at least I feel like it was being hinted that um, sometimes not only being able to disarm your opponent is by stripping them of their weapons, it's by using something different. Like he was using his sexual charm to basically disarm her, where she was like, he's
yeah.
he's so sexy. And then
Oh,
next thing you know, he's on top of her, pinning her down. So it's like, he was showing her
the
that there's plenty of ways to
distraction.
yeah, plenty of ways to disarm your opponent, because she was like all of a
Yeah.
sudden like, "Oh, now you're going to kiss me again." And he's like, "Well, I'll have to do what I have to do in front of all these people." And then he pins her down. It's
No,
like there's some
she wouldn't
experience in this boy.
mind. She wouldn't mind having him kiss her in front of all these people because she just wants that kiss again. But in the beginning,
Mhm.
he kept repeating something about it being a mistake and like it's not going to happen. And she's like, well, I want to talk about it. And he's like, well, you could talk about it, but I don't have to be a part of it. I was like, poor heart. Like, why are you so mean right now? Poor
I know.
Violet.
I know. And then
That's too
like
much.
we hear I mean, I feel like so because when the third year is my assumption is the last year that they're
Yeah,
at this school. So then they move on and go to whatever their
their
job is.
base. Yeah.
Right. So how is that going to work? Maybe I'm just jumping into the future here, but I'm thinking about how are you going to separate Sigel and Taryn if she has to stay and is in, year two
Well,
and
that's what they've been talking about in the book too. So, and
yeah,
we'll find out when they find out.
yeah. You know me, I'm not good at waiting to find out. I
I
want to
know
know
you're
now.
not, but I'm pretty sure you're going to find out sooner than you think. Somewhat.
Yeah,
So,
we're getting through it pretty quick.
yeah. And then we see Xaden trying to take Violet away from a class, and Dain got upset. So Xaden put on a show by like dropping his watch or something and telling Violet to pick it up, and she finally ends up being able to pick it up with her powers. And
But that's not her signet powers, right?
no, it's just the man. It's what do they call it? Just like the manifest class because she needs to practice with it and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And Dain, you could tell that Dain didn't seem like he wanted her to go with him. And then that's when we get to the part because once the lesson was learned, he goes, "Look, she learned it, or she studied it." He takes her
Look,
through,
she
and that's when they
practiced.
find all. Yeah, look, she practiced, and then he takes her through to the commanders and the generals, which we talked about, of
Yeah.
Atos
Where we
being a
see,
creep.
yeah. And then we see what is it that Xaden said to Violet's mom? Like I answered all the questions for you
Oh,
before.
yeah, they thought because she asked about the loyalty, because the mom just seems like she's being very impatient about Violet not having her signet and stuff. So she's all like, "You're doing fine except for like the company you're in," and he's like, "I thought we already like squashed where my loyalties lies," or basic. And he didn't want to go into that either, but basically like she wasn't happy that they were together
Yeah.
for this. But
Join
he
the
takes
club.
her
Dain
through.
is a hater.
Everybody's just a hater at this point. But then we see that he takes her to the flight field and she gets to meet up with all the dragons. And Xaden has to figure out why Violet can't hold her seat. The little gold and Darna needs to be able to keep up. And poor Sigel. Like, that she has to be able to follow. And I like how Taryn like laughed at that and she like sniffed at his neck. Like she's like, she's to me, she's always needs to be in control. She's all like, what does Sigel have to be here for? Well, she needs to learn how to follow somebody. So that was
Yeah.
a fun way to end that little chapter and stuff.
Now
Now
we're
we
gonna
get to
see them, I
see
guess. Yeah, go
figure
into
out how
the
they're
flight training together, all of
and
them.
figure out how Xaden could help her to hold her seat because she keeps falling off her dragon, and we all know that he can't keep using his magic to keep her in.
Yeah, because it drains his power, right? The more he helps her that
And he
way.
can't, yeah, and he won't be able to fully use all his power either. So
Yeah.
chapters 25, 26, and 27 are going to be, right? Is that what I said?
Yay. Are you giving me 3 chapters for homework this week?
Yes, I think it would be fun. Hopefully, this
Yeah,
sore throat congestion won't be there because I can't keep having sneezing attacks.
I know, you poor thing. Being sick is no fun. And this is that time of the year, right?
Ugh, gosh. But is there anything that we missed that you wanted to go over? Did I miss something? Did you miss something?
I'm trying to think. I feel like there was one thing I wanted to talk about and I kind of forgot what it was. You know what? I'll think of it when we're done. That's how it happens, right? I guess
Oh
that's pretty much it.
no.
I know. I do think though with Violet and her mom, I feel like Violet's mom is just like never happy. Like
Oh, I
like
know.
Violet is not only has she like come up with two dragons bonded with her. That's still not good enough for Mommy Dearest. she has to, well, you better start manifesting that signet, girl. Like, and even then what? Once she does that, is there going to be something else that her mom isn't going to be proud of her for?
I don't know. Maybe
Ugh,
she's acting like that because of everybody. I don't know. But yeah, we shall find out.
yeah.
I'm excited.
Well, that was an interesting few chapters. I did enjoy those. I do enjoy my
They were
chapters, and
fun.
I get bummed out when I was at work today. I was reading, just so everyone knows, I was reading my fourth wing book in between my clients, and I had a girl who I work with walk by, and she's like, "What are you reading?" And I showed her. I was like, "The Fourth Wing series." She's like, "That's on my TBR." And I was like, "Oh, it's so good." So I'm telling her like all the stuff we're reading, and yeah, I'm like, see, a lot of people are interested in this. A lot of people are liking this Fourth Wing. I'm glad I'm
Yeah,
finally into it.
me too.
But anything else you want to add before we finish up?
No, but we love you guys.
We do. And if you're not already, be sure to go on and subscribe. Follow us on social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We're on YouTube. Leave us a review. And yeah, I think I said this last time, but just if you guys have any book suggestions that you want us to go over, we would love it. We're planning what we will be doing after the Fourth Wing series, just because we know that we're going to get really sad when we're finished with the series until the next book comes out, but we need something else to be able to talk about. So if you have any suggestions, please be sure to reach out to us and let us know. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. And we will see you guys on the next chapter.
Bye.
Bye.